Look for these situations to make sure you're not missing Social Security benefits. So let's dive right into this. This is huge. This is by Elaine Floyd, who I've been following for a long, long time, and she does something on savvy Social Security planning. No one knows Social Security, probably other than maybe Andrew Biggs, maybe Devin Carroll, but Elaine is in the top three for this for sure. And what I love about Elaine is she talks about her own experience as a widow, as a divorcee, as a worker, working beyond her FRA as well, and then talk about Medicare as well. So a big fan. Savvy Social Security planning, I do subscribe to. I think it's like $1,000 a year or something like that. You don't have to be a financial advisor to subscribe to this, by the way. I'll put a link in the show notes. Okay, so she talks about missing benefits for Social Security, and then she goes, as for my own observations, Social Security has been strikingly inconsistent in both their outreach efforts and in identifying additional benefits. For example, when my ex-husband applied for disability benefits at 64, I received a courtesy call from his Social Security worker telling me that as his ex-wife, I could now file for my divorced spouse benefit. The worker explained that they're not required to make such calls, but if the applicant is in touch with their ex, they do it as a courtesy. I'm sitting there thinking, well, so if the applicant is not in touch with the ex, you don't talk to the ex, well, that's probably the person who needs the benefit the most. But if the applicant is amicable with the ex, that seems weird to me. Like, okay. At the time, I was under my FRA, so I knew there's no point in filing. I also knew that my own benefit was more than half of my ex-husband's, so if I did file before my FRA, I'd be paid my own benefit, but it'd be reduced because I was before my FRA. In 2012, when I turned 66, that's her full retirement age, I did apply for her spousal benefit and began receiving $1,100 a month. This was before they changed the rules in 2015, by the way. You can't do that anymore, with a restricted application. A year later, my ex-husband died, and I was automatically converted to a survivor benefit of $2,200 a month. And she's still allowing her own benefits to grow up until the age of 70 because of delayed earnings credits. So remember, you can allow your own benefits to grow while you're taking widow or survivor benefits. Not spousal benefits, but survivor benefits. Just remember that. About 6 months later, I got a letter from the Social Security Administration informing me that if I switched to my own benefit, I could receive more. The system that had detected that the survivor benefit I was receiving was less than my retirement benefit would be and thought they would do me a favor by urging me to switch. Naturally, I ignored the letter as that would have undermined my whole strategy to delay taking hers until 70. While hold on just a second. Social Security seemed to be well on top of potential benefits in my own case, almost to a fault. Well, it actually was to a fault. Other people were not so lucky. We hear of lower earning spouses who were never told that they should apply for their spousal add-on after their higher earning spouse filed. We hear of widows who were never told that rather than taking reduced benefit at 60, they can file for their own benefit at 62 and switch their maximum survivor benefit at full retirement age. Widows in general often get bad or incomplete advice, the most common one being they can't receive a survivor benefit at all if they work, even if their earnings aren't high enough to cause all their benefits to be withheld. Here are some situations to watch for. Disabled people over 62. Here's a typical situation. A client gets injured on the job or develops a debilitating condition that prevents him from working. Since he's over 62, he figures he might as well file for early retirement benefits. But this would lock in his benefit at a 30% lower than his primary insurance amount. If he can qualify for disability, he will get his full PIA. Do not take the early benefit if you can get disability because you'll get your primary insurance amount. The application process will be more extensive, requiring medical proof of disability, but it will be worth it. If you can't meet Social Security Administration's definition of disability, you can still fall back on the reduced retirement benefits if you really need the income. Let me just point that out. If you're over the age of 62 and you're like, man, I can't do this anymore, whatever, I'll just go ahead and take early benefits. Your benefit will be reduced by 30%. And yet, if you would have filed for disability and got approved, you would have your full PIA before FRA, your full retirement age. This is where, like my man Skip Ritchie, the Skip Ritchie law firm out in Kansas City. Was they moved back to Virginia? I can't remember. St. Louis. Get a guy to walk you through this if you're on disability. For the love of the good Lord above, do not go through disability on your own. I'm telling you, man, it's you against the system, and the system is going to beat you down. You need to have help. Skip's my man. He knows disability. I don't get commissions from him. I don't get paid. I have no idea what's going on. But man, Skip Ritchie Law Firm. You can look him up on YouTube. All right. Disabled or retirement people with minor children. The 20,000 missing benefits cited in the article that I just did a video on myself were the children of people who were receiving disability benefits. They had indicated on their application that they had children, but the children were not receiving benefits. Keep in mind that the minor children of anyone receiving a Social Security, disability, or retirement benefit can receive a dependent benefit equal to 50% of the parent's PIA. And because disabilities can happen at any age, be sure to check with, in this case, your younger clients and spouses to identify cases where the parent of a minor child may be receiving disabilities and didn't know the children were also entitled. Disabled adult children. A child who incurs a disability at birth or sometimes before 22 can, when they turn 18, start receiving supplemental security income. The maximum amount is $794 a month. Children of deceased parents. A child whose parents has died may receive 75% of the parent's primary insurance amount up to the age of 18. Most parents know this or learn it when the deceased parent's death is reported to Social Security, but there may be cases where a family did not know that the children are eligible for benefits. Let me repeat that. A child whose parent had died may receive 75% of the parent's PIA up to the age of 18. One common situation that could cause a child's benefit to be overlooked is the mother remarries and the stepfather begins supporting the child. With the deceased parents out of the picture, it may not occur to them that the child is still eligible for benefits based on the deceased parent's record. In fact, even if the step-parent adopts a child, the child's benefits may continue. Widows, age 60 to 70. If a widow calls the Social Security Administration at age 60, she'll likely be told that the amount of her survivor benefit if she were to claim right now. And the agent will probably offer to take the application then and there, unless she's working, in which case she'll be told she can't get a survivor benefit. There will likely be no discussion of how much more she could get if she were to wait until her full retirement age to claim the survivor benefit. And there'll be no consideration of how her own retirement benefit would grow. It will figure into the mix. Widows between the age of 60 and 70 have a unique advantage of being able to start one benefit and allowing the other to grow with delayed earnings credits. I could not agree more. Parents caring for children with receiving benefits. A parent caring for a child under 16 who's receiving benefits because the other parent is deceased or receiving retirement disability benefits is entitled to a child in care benefit, which is equal to 70% of the worker's PIA if the worker is alive or 75% deceased. Remember that the earnings test applies if the parent is under FRA, and also know that dependents are limited by the family maximum. This means that if the family maximum has already been reached by the children, there may be no point in the caregiver applying for benefits. All right. Parents who have experienced divorce. 100% right. Divorce may be top of the mind for anyone going through one right now, but people who were divorced many years ago have probably put it out of their mind. They now just think of themselves as single, or if they remarry, they think of themselves as married. But long ago, divorces could hold the key to extra Social Security benefits if the marriage lasted at least 10 years. If the divorced person is now single, whether or not having been intervening marriages, spousal benefits may be available based on the ex's work record. If the ex is deceased and the divorced person is either single or remarried after 60, survivor benefits may be available. Whew. Grandparents caring for children. It's not uncommon today for a grandparent to be taking care of a grandchild. If the grandparent is receiving Social Security, the child may be eligible to receive dependent benefit based on the grandparent's work record if certain conditions are met. If the child's parents are deceased or disabled, the child may receive benefits based on grandparent's work record. Of course, if the parents are deceased or disabled, the child may qualify for a benefit based on one of the parents' records if that benefit would be higher. All right. So a lot going on there, my friends. It's just disability is a big one, actually. That actually takes disability and survivor are the big ones. You just got to know the stuff, and you got to be able to look at it and just don't. If you got divorced, if you have children, you're a widow and you're disabled, you got to know that these are triggers to see that you might be missing your benefits. I hope this helps. I'd love to hear your comments, questions, concerns. Put them in the notes and we'll see you. Thanks.